A girl is walking back to her car in a parking lot. As she gets to her red car, an individual attacks her from behind and drags her to his car. We are then shown Cohen and his sister Kaden sleeping. Their babysitter Maggie walks in and wakes them up. She makes them breakfast as their dad arrives. He compliments Maggie on looking great today. His wife then comes to a tea already prepared by Maggie for her. The mom and dad kiss their kids and go out to work. Maggie brings Cohen and Kaden to school. She checks her college application, then hears back to the house to clean around. Later, Maggie is running on the treadmill when someone walks in the house. She looks back and it's the dad, Frederick. She wasn't expecting him home so early. He invites her to join him in their sauna. Maggie is uncomfortable. The mom then screams that she is home. Frederick is surprised she is home early. Maggie comes in and the mom, which name is Kristen, offers some new dresses she bought to Maggie. Maggie is thankful and goes to pick up the kids from school. Later that night, the couple invites Maggie to join them for a glass of wine. But Maggie denies, saying she has to go celebrate with her friend. She meets up with her friend Anna and complains about Frederick always hitting on her. Maggie also reveals she is not sure to accept the college invitation, as she got really attached to the kids. Anna warns her not to make a mistake, and to focus on herself. Her friend excuses herself to go to the restroom. At this moment, a man looks at her from across the bar. After the night out, Maggie goes back to her room in that house, with an undecided mind, college or the kids. The next day, Maggie wakes up and makes breakfast for the kids as usual. Before driving them for school, she calls Frederick and Kristen to announce her decision. Before she could talk, the couple give her a gift to thank her for everything she has done for them, a beautiful necklace. Frederick then asks what was she about to tell them, and Maggie gathers enough courage to announce that she will be leaving them for college. Kristen as well as the kids are extremely sad. Maggie asks for maybe part-time, but Frederick doesn't think it's possible. He takes her aside to have a talk with her. He begs her to stay, but Maggie is determined. Frederick asks if there is anything else they can do for her to stay. He gets closer to her to kiss her, but she slaps him. He gets mad and fires her on the spot. Maggie wants to at least say goodbye to the kids, but he tells her to grab her stuff and leave on the spot. Maggie drives away while crying, looking at a picture of that family. She stops to grab some coffee at a restaurant. The waitress understands she is going through something and brings her as much coffee as she likes for free. That night, Maggie has nowhere to go and calls Anna for help, but it goes to voicemail. A car then tries to hit her, so she goes to the police to make a statement. She is introduced to Officer Ace, the same guy at the bar that was looking at her that other night. Ace wonders if it was an accident, but Maggie is sure it was intentional. She then shares that her ex-boss Frederick fired her today. Once she says his full name, the atmosphere changes. Ace says Frederick is a powerful man, he can't just go ask him questions just on a hunch. Ace gives her his card to call if anything. Maggie leaves and Anna finally calls her, letting her know she can come sleep over. But Maggie already got a motel. She also informs she already have another babysitter interview tomorrow. Maggie gets to the reception but can't find her wallet. The receptionist is willing to work out a deal, but she finds enough money in her pocket to pay for one night. The next day, a woman walking her dog finds a body. Maggie calls Frederick asking if she left her wallet at the house before leaving. Frederick is holding her wallet in his hands, but lies to her that he hasn't seen in, and hangs up. He then drops her wallet in the garbage. But Kristen finds it. Meanwhile, Ace and his team are on the scene of the body found. Maggie goes to her new babysitter interview. The husband finds her great and ready to hire. At this moment, he gets a call and immediately changes his behavior and tells Maggie to leave. Maggie comes out and tells Anna on the phone that she is sure it was Frederick who used his connection. Kristen calls her saying she found her wallet in the trash can. She wants to meet Maggie without Frederick knowing. Both women meets and Kristen gives Maggie her wallet back. She admits her husband can be weird, but he is a great father to her kids. Maggie then shares that she thinks Frederick is trying to finish her, but Kristen doesn't believe her. Maggie then reveals Frederick tried with her. Kristen is shocked. That same night, someone tries to break into Maggie's room, so she calls Ace for help. He arrives and calms her down. The next day, Maggie goes back to that waitress who gave her free coffee, and asks for a job. She has no experience, but the waitress agrees to give her the job and start training tomorrow. The following day, Cohen and Caden bumps into Maggie. She realizes something happened to their last babysitter, and she worries for the safety of these kids. Anna tells her to let it go. Maggie then receives a call from the waitress, who tells her she is not hiring her anymore. She hangs up on her. Maggie had enough and bursts into Frederick's company. Frederick tells her he did blacklist her from many jobs. He is happy she is now begging like he was begging her before. He then tells her to get out. When she leaves, she realizes the elevator isn't working, so she uses the stairs and a guy follows her. She sprays him and police arrives to arrest him. Ace comforts Maggie, but she is sure it's not the guy who tried to break into her room. Ace takes her for coffee. She confesses to him that Frederick tried with her. But when he tells her he can't do nothing about it, she gets mad and leaves. The next day, Anna gets Maggie a job at the company she works for. That night, Kristen calls Maggie, letting her know her husband has to be out for business tonight. She asks her to come over watching over the kids just this one night. Anna doesn't think she should go, finding it strange. Maggie ends up accepting. Cohen and Caden are happy she is back. Meanwhile, Ace learns from a mechanic that the girl found in the woods had her car paint from blue to red. Maggie discovers in Frederick's room pictures of her sleeping in the room they had for her. She then finds the hidden device. Ace calls Maggie, telling her to take the kids and get out. He reveals that the girl they found was Frederick's last au pair babysitter. He believes Frederick finished her and took her red car. Meanwhile, a car drives towards Anna. The next day she is in the hospital. Frederick is then brought for questioning. Ace asks him questions, telling him about his last babysitter and Maggie. But Frederick denies anything, so Ace shows him the photos found in his closet. He stays silent until his attorney arrives. Later on, Maggie comes to Kristen and Frederick arrives. He screams at his wife to leave. He goes after Maggie, who tries to leave. Kristen then knocks him out from behind, but she also knocks out Maggie. When both wake up, they are tied up with Kristen holding a knife. This is where they find out it was Kristen who killed their last babysitter. It was her all along. She was jealous of the way Frederick was going after them. Frederick frees himself and attacks her. Kristen escapes and Maggie knocks her out. Ace arrives and holds Maggie. Kristen is being arrested. Ace says they found the red car in the garage of their house. Anna calls Maggie, saying she is ready to leave. Maggie kisses Ace and the movie ends, with Cohen and Caden staying with Maggie and Ace until they find some foster parents for them.